Good afternoon, everybody. My talk is not meant to tell you that you should go for endovascular for every case of aortoiliac occlusive disease. But it is meant by the fact that we have more and more cases of endovascular to be done on the topic of the aortoiliac occlusive disease in order to have material for research, because we have not reached satisfactory, confident decision making about what to do in such cases. This was the way of transportation for many centuries, but since the world has been born, nothing stayed the same. It has been supplanted by like the heavy truck vehicle and cargo aircrafts. It's much easier and is much faster and stickler for punctuality. Similarly, what had happened in every way of our life has been its translation into the medicine, and the fact that it is the endovascular is technology-based. It is based on the technology. Once the technology has been advanced, also the endovascular will be dragged behind it. TASC was first published in 2000. It was followed by 2007 by the TASC 2. At that time, the assignment of the TASC 2C was by open surgical treatment, and the endovascular was reserved for the patients who are high risk of open surgery. And for the TASC D, always the recommendations was to go for open surgery because there was no advance in the tools at that time. This was followed by the convention of the TASC 2 steering committee in Örebro, Sweden in 2009 in order to reach a consensus about what type of management should be offered for a particular lesion. And at that time, they didn't reach an agreement with that, and the debate continued after that. But it has been followed by an advancement in the wires and the imaging techniques, and more cases of endovascular intervention has been given the notion of vascular first, endovascular first. This is to remind ourselves by what was at that time. This was my first report on the aortoiliac occlusive disease that had been presented in the Asian PCR in 2015. It was for that patient who was suffering from an aortoiliac disease, and this is the end up by aortic stent and left iliac stent as well. Since then, it has been a lot of guidelines that are talking about that. The European Society of Cardiology stipulated that patients with TASC C and D should be assigned to endovascular intervention to be done by experienced team, not to compromise the future surgery. This is a very important topic. The Global Vascular Guideline, which was published in 2019, has abandoned completely what has been said by the TASC 2, and they said that it is outdated and every patient should be treated on the basis of the anatomical complexity in the phases of the patient risk. This is a nice, it is a nice art. This is not a bribe to Hani Zaid, but he was one of the authors to that. It is a nice topic about that. It is comparing the standard endovascular with the syrup technique and the open surgical treatments in the meta-analysis, including 66 reports and including more than 9,000 of patients. They came to great conclusions in that the morbidity among the cases was highest with the open surgery, and third-day mortality was also highest with the open surgery compared to the standard and the syrup technique. Also, the follow-up and the patency of those cases showed the comparable results between the standard endovascular syrup and the open surgical techniques, but unfortunately, the follow-up of cases of syrup were not beyond 5 years. This is the most recent guidelines about this topic, which was in 2024 from the American College of Cardiology. They divided the patients into the claudication patients and the patients who are suffering from CLTI. The patient with claudication, endovascular revascularization is effective to improve walking performance and quality of life. And also, surgery should go for a patient who are reasonable perioperative risk with acceptable technical superiority over the endovascular if we go so. For the revascularization of the CLTI, the situation is a little bit different. You should play the winning card. You can go for endo, for open, and or you can combine both together in order to get rid of this. But we have, they gave us certain guidelines about that. You have to look at the anatomy of these patients. If the anatomy is favorable for open surgery, you should lean to the open surgery, like in case of the common femoral artery involvement, or if the profunda is also involved. Also, the patient's comorbidity has been taken into consideration. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, this is what we are doing in our institution. We look at the patient from the pragmatic point of view in somewhat. This is if the patient is a good surgical option patient, adequate inflow, adequate outflow, and there is suitable conduit, and the patient is fit for surgery in the means of perioperative risk is less than 5%, and 2-year life expectancy is more than 50%, we go for open surgery. Otherwise, the patient is offered endovascular, but this is injustice to the endovascular. A few of cases have been given to the endovascular to the extent we have no publications about that to guide the future consensus. Open surgery may incur significant morbidity and mortality despite attractiveness of greater durability, but the patient cannot live to see this greater durability if the mortality is higher than the endovascular. But when you are going to adopt the endovascular first, you have to avoid risking loss of the bypass target in performing endovascular intervention. You should not burn the bridges. If endovascular fail or if there is a problem in the future, you can go back by open surgery. Thank you.